Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for Wednesday, March 25th. We have a small change of venue, some shifting around due to the social distancing and isolating a bit with office space. We will be back to our regular venue shortly and as soon as possible. My report today is why blame the Jews. You know, each week here at the Jerusalem Connection Report, Red Alert, I talk about anti-Semitism in general, the horrid things happening, ongoing, as well as progress that we make in combating it. We also discuss one of anti-Semitism's most organized arms, and that's called BDS. Boycott, Divest, and Sanction, an organization of loosely affiliated groups that try to strangle Israel off the face of the map through economic, political, PR, academic, and other quote-unquote non-violent means. They do this specifically oftentimes on college campuses in an attempt to indoctrinate and normalize anti-Semitism in our young people, and often in the name of free speech and social justice and other characterizations that lure students into thinking the information they're disseminating is true. Each week, I not only alert you on the latest manifestations of the BDS movement and demonstrations of anti-Semitism in society as a whole, I also share with you the truth and the facts surrounding the nation of Israel and the Jewish people at large. I point out the incongruent treatment of Israelis and Jews in the face of a world that claims that it is for equality, tolerance, and protections for every group and subgroup in humanity. And now we have a new force unleashed on this earth that is completely and 100% non-discriminatory and goes after everybody regardless of gender, lifestyle choice, religion, color, race, national boundaries, nationality, and the like. Perhaps the only discriminating factor coming out of the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak is the fact that it seems to have a little bit of a discrimination in the age category. But there is still more research to be done on that. The COVID-19 virus, a coronavirus, has brought the world to a screeching halt. Industrialized nations such as South Korea have felt the pinch, as well as Italy. South Korea getting a hold of it, Italy suffering greatly due to its aging population. A tiny nation in the middle of the desert of the Middle East has also gotten hold of it quite well. That is the nation of Israel. They were early to detect cases and put into place practices to help protect the population as a whole. They also have very innovative biomedical and technology industries and sectors within their borders who are working hard to develop both a vaccine and courses of treatments. Neighboring nations such as Iran and Egypt aren't faring so well, partly because of that lack of ingenuity. Iran has indeed suffered greatly. Their people have been suffering from their own leadership for decades, and now that that leadership is aging, my understanding is that aging population is also suffering. While Iran is unabashedly anti-Israel in their rhetoric and in their secret developments of nuclear arsenals, they also, of course, fund terrorism. They are active proponents of the BDS movement, that is, encouraging all of their citizens almost to the point of criminalizing any support of Israel financially or any other way. However, some clerics have said that if Israel develops vaccines or treatments, the Iranian people are allowed to take part in that. Well, gee, thanks. I mentioned that last week, and I bring it up again this week because it reveals a reality of what the haters actually do know. Israel is innovative, caring, and passionate about making the world better. Not just the whole world, even their local region, and even their neighbors. They know that Israel sent truckloads of disinfectant into Gaza and the PA. They also know that they've sent as many test kits as they could. Yet the anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist proponents are still twisting and peddling lies. Let's look at some of the sources of this craziness that seems to be embodying the age-old spirit of hate of Haman to scapegoat the Jews for all the world's ills. On Turkish state-sponsored television, a news outlet called StopAntisemitism.com shows the clip of a guest saying to the people, quote, and it's a translation, of course, Jews, Zionists have organized and engineered a novel coronavirus as a weapon to design the world, seize countries, and neuter the world's population. The fact that this guest was even given any airtime and credibility to peddle these lies to the Turkish people is just infuriating. And in a website called, or a news agency, this is an on-air news agency called Newsroom Africa, an anti-Israeli TV guest on a panel falsely claimed that Israel is discriminating against its Arab inhabitants about coronavirus warnings and guidance. He sat on that panel and explained how Israel was only disseminating information in Hebrew and not Arabic. Now, one of the other guests on the panel was an Arab Israeli, and he called the other guest out straight away, claiming that he is from Israel, he lives in Israel, and from weeks ago received information from the government in both Arabic and in Hebrew. And he was very upset that this guest was allowed to lie on this TV station. And he wanted to make sure it was abundantly clear that what that man saying was not true. The man who was saying that Israel did disseminate information in both languages lives in Israel, and the man accusing Israel of not doing it was not. And that was another factor. You think it's just obscure outlets overseas that are peddling the anti-Semitism? How about MSNBC's own Ayman Mohyeldin? He joined in the anti-Israel slamming by posting on his social media a picture of a grocery aisle with almost empty shelves, and in it he captioned that it was just like living in the Gaza Strip or the PA under Israeli apartheid policies. Now, this is just simply not true. And there was a gentleman named David Lang from a website called Israeli Cool, and he reported a rebuttal noting specifically and including the stats on the fact that Gazan grocery stores are heavily stocked with all sorts of Israeli products and products from Europe, and the Gazan people in general are actually fighting a weight problem, an overweight problem. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, has noted on its website that the uptick in anti-Israel and anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic activity on various websites is up with the specific claim that somehow Jews are responsible for coronavirus. A U.S. actress named Rosanna Arquette also posted just recently, and I'll quote, "I'm so confused," she wrote on her Twitter account. So Israel has been working on a coronavirus for a year already, so they knew. Vaccines take a long time to know if they are safe. And Kushner Oscar is a major investor in this new vaccine that is supposedly coming here. Lives at risk for profit. Now, of course, this woman just had to spend a few minutes on Google before she just rushed to a judgment about Israel and their motivations. I reported on the vaccine last week from the Institute in the Galilee that they were working on for a while now an sort of a blank template antiviral vaccine that can then very quickly be customized to a novel presentation of any kind of virus, whether it's a corona or one of the other three viral types. The fact is, they were working forward. They were innovating, and they were working on preparedness to deal with something that was novel and new. They had this capability not because they knew what coronavirus COVID-19 was or that it was coming or that they developed it. They did it because they had forethought and ingenuity and studied how viruses worked in the past, and they didn't want another N1H1 or other kind of SARS scare to happen. They were trying to work forward. Now, Rosanna Arquette did issue an apology later on, saying she didn't realize how offensive she was, but she was. I can go on for hours with examples, excuse me, of why the coronavirus is now uptaking the link of anti-Semitic sentiments in the news media, various organizations, and on social media. Honest Reporting on March 17th, you can Google Honest Reporting, they issued a short video summarizing the progress in Iran, what we know about their death rate and the goings-ons, as well as the progress in Israel with their quarantine efforts and their vaccine development efforts. In addition, the Jerusalem Post article released on March 18th by Khalid Abdul Tolma, he noted that the Israelis and the PA Authority are working closely together. One PA official in Ramallah has been quoted as saying to the J Post, anyone who opposes a cooperation with Israel in the medical field would be acting against the interests of our people. He's talking to the own Palestinian leadership who are criticizing when PA officials, medical teams, and the like work together with Israelis to help people. When the PA cooperates with Israelis, they are often criticized by their own for quote-unquote normalizing relations with Israel. Major Yatum Shafer, head of the International Department of Civil Administration, said on Wednesday that in the last 3 weeks, the Defense Ministry coordinator in government activities in the territories has collaborated with the Israeli Ministry of Health and have been working to aid the Palestinians in the outbreak of the coronavirus. Our coordination with the PA, he goes on, is tight and very strong. We are working together because we understand that eventually this virus doesn't have boundaries and doesn't differentiate between Israelis and Palestinians or anyone. We intend to continue this collaboration effort. Our goal here at the Jerusalem Connection Report on our Wednesday Red Alerts is to provide you with all these facts about conceptions, perceptions, and the reality of what's going on so that you can pray and support and advocate for truth and continue with our mission in working in solidarity with the Jewish people and the state of Israel, remembering we are all human and we are all fallible, but that we work together for a common goal. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.